Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lake Olmsted Stadium. It's game one of a three-game series between the home team Augusta Jaguars and the Fighting Knights of Lynn University. The Jaguars getting ready to wrap up the season this weekend in this three-game weekend season finale, as the Jaguars come into this game 14-31 overall, and the Knights coming into this game 20-24 overall on the season, as the Jaguars play game one here tonight at 6 o'clock. First pitch in just about 10 minutes from now. And a doubleheader tomorrow beginning at 1 o'clock in the afternoon right here at Lake Olmsted Stadium. We'll have all three of those games, including tonight, streaming live on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube and available to view from all over the world, wherever you may be here over the weekend. As we get set for baseball here today, let's take a look at some players to watch if you're the Jaguars defensively. And the star to watch for the Fighting Knights is Patrick Dorian. He's a senior. He's hitting .387 on the season and 15 home runs and 50 RBIs. He is the offensive leader in just about every statistical category for the Fighting Knights. He's hitting third in the lineup for the Fighting Knights here tonight. We'll give you the starting lineups for both teams a little bit later on. And not only that, he's tied for the team lead with Tom Archer with 12 doubles and is the team leader with 22 walks and 63 base hits on the season. He'll be the player to watch for the Fighting Knights. And starting pitcher for the Jaguars, they'll have Matt Meeks on the mound here in this game, and he's typically the guy that you'd have, if you're the Jaguars, you'd want to have starting the opening game of a weekend series, and for good reason. He, on the season, is a .399 ERA, and he has a complete game to his credit this season, and it was his only victory of the season, believe it or not. It was on February the 23rd in a victory over Southwestern when he went, or Georgia Southwestern, when he went the distance, and the Jaguars won that game 7-1. That was the first game of that series in which the Jaguars won, and they ultimately went on to complete a series sweep that weekend back in February when they swept the doubleheader over Georgia Southwestern the following day, winning 8-4 in game one the following day, which is game two of the series, and in the series finale and the second game of the doubleheader, winning 11-9 in 10 innings back in February in the series in Americus, Georgia. Jaguars wrap up the season here tonight against Lynn. This is game one of a three-game series set to start soon. We will take a quick break. When we come back, we will take a look at the standings overall in the Peach Belt Conference, and then we'll take a look at other games within the conference that will be in action tonight and throughout the weekend. Once again, this is the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back.
Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check, check.
We welcome you back here to Lake Olmsted Stadium as we get set for game one of a three-game series in a two-day period. This is game one tonight. Game two and three will be tomorrow as part of a doubleheader between the Jaguars of Augusta University and the Fighting Knights of Lynn University. And before we get started here, we are about 6 minutes away from first pitch, which will be at 6 o'clock Eastern time here at the lake. Let's take a look at the Peach Belt Conference standings going into this weekend. Georgia College sits atop, having an historic season. They're 24-3 in conference play, 34-9 overall. One of those three conference losses came in the hands of the Jaguars 6 days ago here at the lake, and what a thrilling game that was. In second place, the USC Aiken Pacers, 20-7 in conference play, 29-16 overall. And Columbus State, 17-6 in third place, 35-8 overall. 15-9 in fourth place are the North Georgia, and they're also 28-16 overall. Flagler, 15-12 in conference play, 29-18 overall. UNC Pembroke, the Braves of UNC Pembroke, 14-12 and 33-12 overall, and a remarkable 19-0 in non-conference action are the Braves of USC Pembroke this season. Young Harris is at 500 in conference play at 15-15, and overall just a little bit above 500, 25-22. Francis Marion 9-21 in conference play. Jaguars right behind them, sitting at 8-22 in ninth place. And it's important to note the top 8 teams of the Peach Belt Conference will play in the conference tournament, which will begin next week. The Jaguars just on the outside looking in, most unfortunately. And because of that, and this being a non-conference action, Jaguars unfortunately will not be able to make the conference tournament because of that. But to follow the Jaguars in the standings, Lander is 7-20 in conference play, and Georgia Southwestern is 5-22 in conference play. And now we'll take a quick look at other games that will be in action here today in just a moment within the Peach Belt Conference, as the umpires are talking things over with the coaches, going over some of the ground rules here at this beautiful day at Lake Olmsted Stadium. It was a very cloudy day most of the day. Overcast skies looked like rain may or may not come, but it has since cleared up, and the threat seems to have, for the time being, passed, although this is the southern part of the United States, and the weather can be very unpredictable here. And we'll always knock on wood as we speak when we're talking about weather in baseball, of course, as we take a look at some other games going on within the Peach Belt Conference here tonight and throughout the course of the weekend. And another game just underway between North Georgia and Lander. They are scoreless in the top of the first. Also just underway at the top of the hour between the Pacers of USC Aiken and the Saints of Flagler. That game a 6 o'clock first pitch, and also a 6 o'clock first pitch. We will see the Columbus State take on Georgia College, and the Jaguars taking on the Fighting Knights of Lynn at the top of the hour. All the games within the conference beginning at 6 o'clock Eastern Time here this weekend, and they'll all be 3-game weekend series as we get set for the Peach Belt Conference coming up in a couple weeks from now. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the starting lineup for the Fighting Knights and the defensive alignment for the Jaguars as we inch closer to first pitch here on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome you back here to the lake. We will begin the pregame festivities with a very special ceremonial first pitch, which we have live here for you on the screen. And it's a strike. And we'll take a look at the starting lineup offensively for the Fighting Knights of Lynn University. The leadoff hitter will be the second baseman, Tom Archer, and batting second, playing in position number 2, that is the catcher on a baseball scorebook, is Joe Argumedo, and he's going to be followed by the shortstop, Patrick Dorian, hitting third. Dorian is the offensive leader in almost every statistical category for the Fighting Knights, having a phenomenal senior season and a great career he has had at Lynn University. And hitting behind him at cleanup and playing center field, we have Fontana hitting cleanup, and the right fielder is Gabe Martinez hitting fifth, and the number 6 hitter at third base is Jake Rouse, and we have Willie C. at third base hitting seventh, and hitting eighth is the first baseman Alejandro Martinez, and the number 9 hitter and playing in left field for the Knights is Alec Ojeda, and their starting pitcher in today's game, we'll tell you a little bit more about him a little later on, is Daniel Newsy. And the Jaguars are taking the field right now, being introduced in front of their hometown fans. We will pause for the national anthem. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to Lake Olmsted Stadium in the beautiful city of Augusta, Georgia. As the Jaguars have taken the field, the anthem has concluded. We're set for first pitch here for tonight's game between the Jaguars and the Fighting Knights of Lynn University. This is the first game of a three-game weekend series in a span of 2 days, as tomorrow games 2 and 3 will be played as part of a doubleheader. The Jaguars, once again, they have taken the field. Let's take a look at their defensive alignment here in this game. Starting in the outfield from left to right, Patrick Watson is in left field. In center field, Devin Billardello. And in right field is Harrison Moore. In the infield, at third base, Jim Wagner, Mason Robertson is at second base. The starting shortstop is Trent Maddox, and Ty Hobbs will play first base behind the plate. Doing the catching, Brent Alford. And on the mound for the Jaguars is the right-hander, Matt Meeks. Matt Meeks has easily been the most consistent starter for the Jaguars this season. He's only one of two Jaguar pitchers to have an ERA under 4. He has an ERA of 3.99 this season. He's the only starter with an ERA under 4 as well. And he has a complete game to his credit. That was a 7-1 victory over Georgia Southwestern. The Jaguars winning that game 7-1. That was in a game on February the 23rd. And he's normally the starter in the first game of a weekend series, typically the Friday starter, and for good reason, given the numbers I have just mentioned. The first batter that he will face for the Fighting Knights is going to be Tom Archer. Tom Archer is a junior for the Fighting Knights this season. And he's leading off here in this game. The first pitch he sees, he's aggressive right away. He swings and he lines it right to second, and Robertson traps it on, apparently was a hop, but he throws to first in time for the easy force out for a very quick out number 1. And that's going to bring up Joe Argumedo, who's also a junior this season for the Fighting Knights. And the first pitch that Argumedo sees is a called strike. 0-1. He's a .280 hitter this season. He has 6 doubles and exactly 125 at bats this season. He's been played in 36 of the team's 44 games in 2018. He's behind in the count after looking at a pair of pitches, both called strikes. 0-2 with nobody on and 1 out here in the top of the first inning. On this beautiful evening for baseball, the 0-2 pitches chopped to short. Maddox fields it. He throws to first. That's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here to begin the top of inning number 1. And now here's the leading hitter on the Fighting Knights, the number 3 hitter, Patrick Dorian. I mentioned stuff about him during pregame. A .387 hitter, 50 RBIs, 22 walks, 12 doubles, 4 triples, 15 home runs. Those all lead the team. And what a career he has had at Lynn. And what a senior season as well. And the first pitch he sees is outside for a ball, 1-0. The first ball thrown of this game for starter Matt Meeks. And the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Curveball, 1-1. Dorian trying to extend the inning here for the on-deck hitter, Shane Fontana. Who's batting cleanup in the lineup today for Lynn. And the 1-1 pitch misses. 2 balls and a strike on Dorian. Recently, Meeks made a start on the 20th of April, 7 days ago, to start the weekend series against Georgia College. He deals in a called strike to Dorian, and the count is even 2-2 with 2 outs for the first time in this game. Deuces are wild. Meeks went 5 1/3 innings in his start last week and gave up 6 runs off 8 hits. The majority of those runs were later in his start. So he got off to a good start in last week's game and pitched well before the team that leads the nation in offense in just about every category, Georgia College, started to figure him out and catch fire and show why they lead in those categories. And now the 3-2 pitch misses for ball 4 and a 6-pitch, 2-out walk to Patrick Dorian. And that extends the inning for the cleanup hitter and the starting center fielder in this game for Lynn. Here's Shane Fontana. Fontana also has had himself a very good 2018 season. He's a .320 hitter this season. Has scored 33 runs, and he has 6 doubles and 3 triples, 4 home runs for a total of 13 extra base hits to his credit, and 17 bases on balls, 17 walks, and 22 RBIs. Behind in the count here, 0-1 after looking at the first pitch. Check on the runner at first, and Dorian gets back safely. Count remains 0-1 on Fontana. It's one of those instances for the Jaguars on defense. The third out of an inning is a lot harder to get than outs 1 and 2 of an inning. The 0-1 misses for a ball, 1-1. The count is even on Fontana. Jaguars offense last weekend and this week really started to come along and catch fire, especially late in last Saturday's game against Georgia College. Towering pop fly. Bill Ardello giving chase. He's going to be called off by the left fielder, Patrick Watson, and Watson makes the catch. And the Jaguars put up a 0 in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first, no score, as the Jaguars come to bat. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome back to the lake. We are set to begin the bottom of the first. Jaguars come to bat for the first time in this game and of this series. No score here in this one. And let's take a look at the Jaguars starting offense, the starting lineup for the Jaguars. Devin Billardello starting in center field. He'll lead it off. Mason Robertson, the star freshman, hitting second and playing second. Jim Wagner hits third and plays third for the Jaguars in this game. The designated hitter, Timothy Gray, will hit cleanup. Brent Alford behind the plate doing the catching, hitting fifth. Harrison Moore in right field hits sixth. Ty Hobbs starting at first base here tonight in this game and hits seventh. Patrick Watson hitting eighth and playing left field. And Trent Maddox will round up the starting offensive lineup for the Jaguars, hitting ninth and playing shortstop. And the starting pitcher that they will all face for the Fighting Knights is the right-hander Daniel Newsy. He's a senior right-handed pitcher. He has pitched in an even 35 innings this season, has been primarily pitching out of the bullpen this season, but has recently been moved to a starting position. This is only his third start this season, his 18th appearance overall. He has a 1-3 record and 5 saves. He's primarily been the closer for the Fighting Knights, starting on the mound here in this game. As I mentioned before, he has 5 saves. And a ERA of 4.89 this season. And here's Bill Ardello as the first batter he will face, and Bill Ardello looks at a called strike, 0-1. Bill Ardello behind the count, 0-1. Starting in center field tonight for the Jaguars here in this game. The 0-1 pitch, and that misses upstairs for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bill Ardello is the team leader in average, and that's the primary reason he is generally the leadoff hitter for the Jaguars this season. He has a .354 average on the season. He also has speed, so if he can get on base, the Jaguars might have a chance to make something happen here, and he does just that with a leadoff single to right field. That's going to bring up the freshman second baseman, Mason Robertson. Robertson is a very good defensive second baseman as far as freshmen go. For the Jaguars, he has a .242 hitting average this season. He's a very good disciplined hitter. Has drawn 34 walks this season, which leads the team. The number 2 hitter when it comes to walks for the Jaguars is Ty Hobbs with 21. And Robertson is the leader with 34 base on balls in 2018. No balls and a strike. The count on Robertson. And the first pitch to him is a called strike 2, 1-2, or nothing in 2. The count on Robertson, I should say. Runner on first and Bill Ardello after the leadoff single. No score. Bottom of the first. And a check on the runner, Bill Ardello. First base, he gets back safely. Obviously, the Fighting Knights have been listening to what I've said about Bill Ardello and how he has good speed, and he can make things happen for the Jaguars as a result of him getting on base. And it's up to Robertson to find a way to manufacture him home. The 0-2 pitch misses outside. May have been a pitch out for ball 1, 1-2. Robertson will be followed by Jim Wagner and then the designated hitter, Timothy Gray, barring a double play ball. Absolutely no wind here this evening at the lake. The flag out in straightaway center field has not moved at all during the time that I've been here today at all. Check on the runner at first. And Bill Ardello is able to get back once again. Count remains on Robertson. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is the part of the Jaguars lineup that shows good plate discipline. They prolong at bats and spoil nasty pitches to stay alive. The runner's going, and Robertson spoils one of those nasty pitches I was just talking about and fouls one away. Stays alive on a tough pitch and will send Bill Ardello back to first as he was attempting to steal there. Game 2 of the 3-game series will be tomorrow here at the lake. It will be a 1 o'clock Eastern Time first pitch. Game 2 will follow that as we have a doubleheader tomorrow to wrap up the 2018 season. Robertson swings and misses on the 1-2 pitch and is down on strikes. 4 out, number 1. And here's the third baseman, the senior third baseman for the Jaguars, Jim Wagner. Wagner has a .280 average this season. He's a very consistent hitter. He's also a consistent defender. Makes almost every play on balls hit to him. And he always knows what position to be in at what time defensively. And he knows what pitches he's capable of hitting and what he should lay off of. And that's why he has such good plate discipline and why he's able to prolong at bats. 1 ball, no strikes on the senior veteran. Another check on Bill Ardello at first. That is the third throw over this inning that we have seen by Newsy. And another throw over, make that 4. And this time Bill Ardello barely gets back. He does not have a particularly large lead off of first. He does have speed, but obviously with the Fighting Knights holding him on, he's erring on the side of caution. The 1-0 misses 2 balls and no strikes on Wagner. Wagner, for someone with good plate discipline, he has walked 19 times in 2018. The 2-0 That's in there for a called strike. Wagner may have been taking all the way 2-1. Timothy Gray for the Jaguars is on deck. Jaguars, the runner on first. And one out, trying to take the early lead here in this one. Check on the runner. And Bilardello, for the fifth time since reaching first on a leadoff single, gets back safely on a throw-over. Not so sure what the record is for number of pickoff attempts with a single base runner. But so far in this one, we're up there with Bilardello. So it seems that's down the right field line, and that's going to go foul. And that evens the count on Wagner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Jaguars were victorious on Wednesday against Claflin, sweeping the season series 2-0 as they traveled to Orangeburg, South Carolina to defeat Claflin 14-4. Claflin came to the lake earlier on this season on the final day of the month of February, visited the lake, and the Jaguars won that game as well, 12-8. A very hot offense against Claflin in both games, scoring a combined 26 runs in 2 games in the 2 victories. The Jaguars, in their final 2 innings offensively in Saturday's game, scored 5 runs after being held to just 1 run in the first 6 innings. Grounded to second, throw to first in time to get Wagner. Bilardello was running with the pitch, and he's able to get to second easily. No chance for a double play for the Fighting Knights as a result of that. And here's the cleanup hitter, Timothy Gray. And we go back to Saturday's rally. The Jaguars trailed going into the 7th inning 5-1. They scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Saw 9 hitters come to the plate that inning, batting around. And then scored 2 in the bottom of the 8th to not only tie the game, but take the lead and then hang on to win the game in the top of the 9th, 6-5, in a thrilling come-behind victory over the first place Georgia College, handing Georgia College only their 3rd conference loss and 9 losses overall after Saturday's game. And shows you just what an outstanding season Georgia College has had this season as a result of a very good offense that leads the nation in just about every category. They also have 4 players hitting above 400 this season. In comparison, Lynn, Jaguars' opponent this weekend, has 3 players hitting above 300 this season. None of them hitting above 400. Still a very good offense, but still nobody hitting above 400. 2 balls and no strikes, the count on the designated hitter and cleanup hitter for the Jaguars, Timothy Gray. The 2-0 is a called strike, 2 balls and 1 strike to Gray. Runner on second, 2 outs here in the bottom half of inning number 1 here at Lake Olmsted Stadium in Augusta, Georgia. Gray trying to extend the inning and drive Bilardello home for Bryce Alford, who waits on deck. Wind starting to gradually pick up here. A very peaceful breeze here at the lake. The 2-1. Hard swing, and Gray chops it foul. In Saturday's comeback in the 7th and 8th innings, where the Jaguars put together a lot of runs, Gray led off both innings. As a result of the Jaguars batting around in the 7th, he led off that inning with a single, scored a run to set the tone. And because they batted around, he leads off the 8th inning as well on Saturday and does the exact same thing. Singles and scores the tying run that inning to officially erase a 5-1 deficit. The Jaguars ultimately scored 2 runs in that 8th inning to take a 6-5 lead and win the game 6-5. Runners going, Bilardello out at third as he is thrown out trying to steal. And the Jaguars come up empty here in the bottom of the 1st as Bilardello makes the 3rd out at third base, which is a cardinal sin in baseball. As we go to the 2nd inning here at the lake, no score. We'll be back. Welcome you back here to Lake Olmsted Stadium. It's the top of the second. The Fighting Knights coming to bat. We are scoreless here at the lake. The leadoff hitter for the Fighting Knights is going to be Gabe Martinez. He's also the starting right fielder in this game for the Fighting Knights. Faces the Jaguars starter Matt Meeks, who pitched a scoreless top half of inning number 1, and Meeks deals a ball up and away to Martinez to start the inning. Count 1-0. And the second pitch popped up, foul territory. Several Jaguars giving chase, and it's going to land in the play structure, 1-1. Martinez is the number 5 hitter in this game for the Fighting Knights, and he looks at a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes is now the count. He's the number 3 hitter on the team in terms of average, a 327 average. He's a 5th-year senior, veteran player. He has 5 home runs on the season, and that's lined chopper foul. And Martinez stays alive, count 1-2. It will remain. He's going to be followed by Jake Rouse and then Willie C. This is a very diverse Lynn team. They have quite a bunch of players from the Northeast, despite being a team based in South Florida. The 1-2 misses, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lynn located in Boca Raton, just outside of Miami. They have quite a bunch of players from New Jersey and New York. Whereas the Jaguars, the majority of players the Jaguars have on their roster, for the most part, are from this very state of Georgia, and the 2-2 is fouled off into Millage Road. Count remains 2-2 on Martinez. It's a busy weekend in the world of sports. Got a 3-game series here to wrap up the 2018 season between the Jaguars and the Fighting Knights. As the 2-2 pitch swung on, and another foul into Millage Road. Might bounce and roll into Lake Olmsted itself. And the NFL draft going on this weekend as well as playoff action in both the NBA and the NHL. The Celtics and Bucks getting ready to play a important Game 7 tomorrow night. The Warriors and the Pelicans starting their best-of-7 conference finals series tomorrow night as well, and 3 Game 6s a little later on tonight. The Raptors, Wizards playing each other, the Pacers, Cavs as well, and in the Western Conference, the Jazz, Thunder. And we'll have to wait and see tonight how many of those get a Game 7 as well. And hockey playoffs going on as well tonight, with the Jets and the Wild beginning their best-of-7 series in the conference semifinals in full swing around the NHL. The 2-2 pitch, called strike 3, down on strikes Martinez for out number 1 here in the top of the second inning. And here's Jake Rouse. Rouse this season, he's a senior. He is a 307 hitter on the season. Has 20 RBIs, 7 doubles, and 2 home runs this season. Called strike, 0-1. Nearly a third of the base hits that Rouse has this season has been extra base hits. A total of 9, 7 doubles, 2 home runs, no triples, and 22 singles for a total of 31 hits. And that's the 23rd single of 2018 for Rouse, and the 32nd hit overall, as he is on with a 1-out single. And that's going to bring up Willie C., who is also a senior, a 252 hitter this season, 7 home runs and 6 doubles. He has power. for the Fighting Knights. He's the designated hitter in this game. The power is the reason he's the DH. And the pitch to C. That's in there, a called strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Very pleased to see that the Jaguars mascot, Augustus the Jaguar, has arrived at the lake to check out some of the action here today. And the 0-1 will have a check on the runner at first in Rouse before the 0-1 pitch is still pending. Here's the 0-1. Grounded through the hole on the left side. A base hit. That's back-to-back singles here in the second with one out. And Lynn is in business. And it's going to bring up the first baseman, Alejandro Martinez, for the Knights. Alejandro Martinez, a junior, hitting .271. A 2-to-1 ratio of strikeouts to walks. He has 26 strikeouts and 13 walks. He has 5 home runs and 11 doubles. More than half of his hits this season, extra base hits. And that's lined foul down the left field line into the empty Jaguars bullpen. 0-1 on Alejandro Martinez. Beautiful night here in Augusta, Georgia, as we close out the month of April in the coming days, as well as this 2018 season. It's been a fun season. Goes by fast. Season begins at the beginning of February, ends at the end of April, spanning approximately 3 months. Been a memorable season, too. And that's grounded to third. Wagner fields it, throws to first for the only play. And that's out number 2. The runners advance from first and second to second and third, however. And that's going to bring up Alec Ojeda. He's the catcher in this game for the Fighting Knights. And he's also the number 9 hitter. The Fighting Knights have struggled as of late this season. They started off hot, but are currently on a 8-game losing streak. And they're looking to end that here this weekend. The Jaguars looking to continue the streak. 0-1, the count on Ojeda. 2 on and 2 outs. Both runners in scoring position here in the top of the second. No score. And the 1-0 misses to Ojeda, and the count is 2-0. The Fighting Knights began the season 5-1, and that was after a 3-game sweep of Miles College. And that series, to complete the sweep, it was capped with a 20-3 victory to improve the record to 5-1. They have struggled since, including the 8-game losing streak in which they are currently on. And during the last 4 games, they have given up 8 runs in each of the last 4 games, which included 3 losses to Emory-Riddle University and an 8-5 loss on Wednesday against Kaiser. Before that, they fell 16-6 to Nova Southwestern. And they also saw, to the same Nova Southeastern ball club, I should say, a 10-4 loss. And before that, the 8-game losing streak began with a 16-5 loss to Florida Tech. And now they're in business, and that's a single by Ojeda. And both runners in scoring position come in to score. And Lynn takes the early lead 2-0 with 2 outs here in the second. And now I'll flip the lineup card back to the top of the order. And Tom Archer, a junior from Fort Salonga, New York, a transfer from Hofstra University. Archer grounded out his first time up to lead off the game, swinging at the very first pitch of the game in which he saw to second base for out number 1 back in the first inning. He now bats with a runner on first and 2 outs here in the top of the second inning. And a 2-0 lead for Lynn. Jaguars in the bottom half of this inning will have the middle third of their lineup due up, which will be Moore. Correction, it'll be Gray, Alford, and then Moore. Called strike on Archer, 0-1. The big reason for the 8-game losing streak in which Lynn is on is their pitching during the streak has really struggled. The offense has performed fine, but pitching has really struggled. And that's a 0-2 pitch, 0-2 count. Now as Archer looks at a called strike 2. Count 0-2. If the Jaguars, key to success this weekend for the Jaguars, if they can get their offense going, they can cause trouble for the Fighting Knights. Probably their biggest key going into this game. The 0-2 swing and a miss. Archer down on strikes. And we go to the bottom of inning number 2, but not before the Fighting Knights score 2 and take a 2-0 lead over the Jaguars. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome back here to the lake. The Jaguars trail it 2-0 against Lynn. Coming to bat here in the bottom of the second, and they'll have the middle third of their lineup due up. Timothy Gray, the designated hitter and cleanup hitter in this game, leading it off. He had a 2-2 count on him last inning when the inning ended on Devin Billardello being thrown out at third, trying to steal, and he starts this inning with a fresh new count, swings and misses at the first pitch he sees for a strike. 0-1 the count, and now the 0-1 pitch misses downstairs in the dirt. Count is even at a ball and a strike. In the bottom of the 7th inning on Saturday's game, I mentioned this earlier, Timothy Gray led off the inning with the Jaguars trailing the first place Georgia College 5-1. He singled that inning, came in to score the first of 3 runs in which the Jaguars scored that inning, and they trimmed the deficit that inning to 5-4. Also saw 9 hitters come to the plate and bat around. And as a result, he led off the following inning and led off the 8th inning with a single as well, came in to score again, and in that case scoring the tying run. And the Jaguars scored another run that inning to take a 6-5 lead and capping a comeback after trailing by 4 at the 7th inning stretch to defeat first place Georgia College 6-5 on Saturday. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Timothy Gray. Count is even. And here's the 2-2. Curveball. Got him looking. 1 out here in the second. And it's going to bring up Brent Alford. Alford, the Jaguars catcher, he also was, in a sense, a hero in Saturday's game, as during the 9th inning, in the top of the 9th, after the Jaguars took the lead in that game, the Georgia College, they put a runner on third with less than 2 outs. And there was a wild pitch. And Alford, the catcher, with outstanding hustle, was able to catch up to the ball and stop the runner from even attempting to come home to score the tying run. And that turned out, in the end, to be a game saver, as the Jaguars forced Georgia College to strand the runner on third. There's a runner on third representing the tying run, and as a result, the Jaguars held on for the victory. Grounded one hopper back to the mound, throw to first in time for out number 2. And here's Harrison Moore. And it was Harrison Moore who, in Saturday's game, made a spectacular game-saving catch on a fly ball to right field, which ended the game, resulted in the third and final out as well. The total team effort, Saturday's win for the Jaguars over first-place Georgia College. The Jaguars did, however, drop 2 out of 3 in that game, but had an exciting come-from-behind victory on Saturday, winning the middle game of the 3-game series. No balls and a strike on Harrison Moore. And here's the pitch. And that's also a called strike. 0-2 on Moore. 2 outs, nobody on here in the second. Jaguars looking to answer, trailing 2-0. They gave up a pair of runs in the top half of this inning. Moore trying to extend the inning for Hobbs and start a potential 2-out rally. And the 0-2 pitch misses up and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the right fielder and the number 6 hitter for the Jaguars, Harrison Moore. And the 1-2, taken for a called strike 3, a pair of called strike 3s this inning. And the Jaguars are set down in order. As we go to the top of the third, they trail it 2-0 here at the Lake. We'll be back. We welcome you back here to the Lake. It's the top of the third inning, and it'll be the catcher, Joe Argue Mado, will lead it off here in the third inning for the Fighting Knights, and he is hit in the back on the first pitch he sees and sprints to first base. And after getting hit by a pitch, that's always a good sign to see them running without any struggles. As Argumento is on to lead off the first inning, it's going to bring up the team's leading hitter, Patrick Dorian. He's from Kingston, New York. He also transferred from Herkimer Community College. He has played in all but one game for the Fighting Knights in 2018. He looks at a called strike. 0-1 on Dorian. Another called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike on Dorian. Count is even. He followed by Shane Fontana, who waits on deck. He's the cleanup hitter for the Fighting Knights in this game, and Dorian fouls one back to the screen. Count 1-2. Lights have come on here at the lake. Starting to stay light later and later, but still got to turn the lights on for evening games, even if it stays light through most of the game here, as you might expect. The 1-2 pitch, that's a towering pop fly, foul territory, and that's going to stay foul, and once again land in the play structure. On a normal night, that's a souvenir for a very lucky kid playing out there. There's been several foul balls hit there today's game. However, it doesn't seem as though there's anybody there here today. That doesn't mean there won't be later, however. Ball and 2 strikes, the count on Dorian. And a check on the runner, Argumedo at first. He gets back. 2 runs off of 3 hits so far in this game for the Fighting Knights. Jaguars with just no runs off 1 hit. Their 1 hit was by Devin Billardello, and that was erased when Billardello was thrown out trying to steal third to end the bottom of the first. And it's grounded to second. A look at the runner going to second. No chance to make the play there, so Robertson goes to first for the easy out. Dorian was retired, and Argumedo with good speed able to get over to second and avoid a double play. And that's going to bring up Shane Fontana. The cleanup hitter who was 0 for 1 in this game flew out to left field his first time up, which ended the top of the first. Meeks, in addition to his complete game, which I talked about earlier, which came on February the 23rd against Georgia Southwestern, he went 8 1/3 innings on March 9th against Young Harris, gave up 3 runs off of 5 hits in that game on March 9th. But the Jaguars ultimately lost that game 4-0. And to second, out at second is Argumedo. He took a little bit too big of a lead between second and third. The Jaguars noticed it, and Meeks took advantage throwing it over, and Argumedo was basically had no way out of his situation after he took too big of a lead. And that's allowed out number 2, and it drastically changes the complexion of the inning as the runner is taken out of scoring position. Count even now on Fontana, a ball and a strike. Now 2 outs and nobody on. And a missed opportunity potentially for the Fighting Knights depending on how this inning plays out. Swing and a miss on Fontana on the count. Now 1-2. Now Fontana needs to get on just to extend the inning. Jaguars will have the bottom third of their order due up to start the bottom half of the third after this. The 0-2, or the 1-2 I should say, on its way. Chop foul first base side. Count remains 1-2 on Fontana. Fontana can get on. He'll extend the inning for Gabe Martinez. 0 for 1 in this game with a strikeout. Meeks has 2 strikeouts in this game. Both came in the second inning. One began the inning and the other ended the inning. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on, fouled away back into Millage Road. The Jaguars, after the 6-5 win on Saturday, scored 5 runs in a 9-5 loss in the rubber match between Georgia College on Sunday in the series finale, and then scored 14 runs on Wednesday in the 14-4 victory over Claflin. So their offense has come in on a little hot streak going into this weekend. Robertson fields it on the hop, throws to Hobbs, who fields it perfectly on the hop on the throw to first. And it's in time, and that ends the inning. 1-2-3, go the Fighting Knights as a result of the pickoff at second. And the Jaguars still trail at 2-0, but come to bat as we go to the bottom of the third. We'll be back. Welcome back here to the lake as the Jaguars come to bat here in the bottom of the third. Hope you enjoyed a little in-between inning musical chairs fun with Augustus the Jaguar, the Jaguars mascot who has come to check out all the action here in this one. For the Jaguars, they will have the bottom third of their lineup starting off the bottom of the third inning. It'll be Ty Hobbs, the number 7 hitter, leading it off for the Jaguars, followed by Patrick Watson and then Trent Maddox, all looking forward to their first at-bats of this game against Daniel Newsy, the starter for the Fighting Knights, who so far has faced the minimum. Gave up a leadoff single to Devin Billardello to start the bottom of the first. Billardello was thrown out trying to steal third to lead off, or to end the bottom half of that first inning. And as a result, Newsy has retired everybody else he has faced and has faced the minimum because of the throw out at third to end the first. Hobbs chops one foul, 0-2 the count on Hobbs. He fielded a very nice hop on a throw to first to end the top half of this inning. Now comes to bat to lead off the bottom half. The 0-2 checked his swing. Did he go? He did not. And the pitch is outside for a ball. And the at-bat continues. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hobbs. Newsy is in, as I mentioned before, this is his third start this season. His 18th overall appearance has primarily been a reliever. Has 5 saves this season, spent a good amount of time as the Fighting Knights closer. And he leads the team with his 5 saves. When he pitches, his defense has caught a 5th of opposing base runners trying to steal this season. They caught Billardello stealing third to end the bottom of the first earlier on in this game. He's given up 4 stolen bases this season and has caught 1, being Billardello stealing third. Two balls, 2 strikes on Hobbs. He has an even count. Nobody on here with nobody out. Here in the bottom of the third, Jaguars trail it 2-0. And the 2-2 pitch misses in the dirt. Count is full 3-2 on Hobbs. Newsy's first start of this season was on the 13th of this month against Nova Southwestern. And that's in the air to deep left field, to the track, to the wall. It's off the wall, off one of the signs. And it is gone. A home run as Patrick Watson puts the Jaguars on the board for the first time in this game. As he hits that one right off the Petch respiratory sign in left center field. That's just above the 366 sign here, going 366 feet. As Ty Hobbs, with a solo home run, puts the Jaguars on the board. They trail it 2-1, and here's Patrick Watson. As Hobbs trims the deficit in half. And that's a ball to Watson, nothing in correction, count 1-0. In Newsy's first start of the season against Nova Southwestern after 15 relief appearances in which he saw 5 saves, he saw his team fall 10-4. That was the second game, the second loss of their current 8-game losing streak this season, as Watson hits that one in the air to right field, and the catch is made on the warning track. Didn't quite get all of it, as it just missed potentially back-to-back home runs. And that's out number 1. And now here's the number 9 hitter, Trent Maddox. Batting for the Jaguars for the first time in this game in Newsy's second start. It was a week ago today on the 20th of April against Embry-Riddle. It was an 8-2 loss for the Fighting Knights. He went 8 innings, however, in that game, gave up 4 runs off of 7 hits. So he did show, as a normal reliever, that he is capable of going deep into games as a starter in that game. And the 0-1 pitch to Maddox grounded to short. Throw to first in time as Maddox grounds out to his counterpart. That's out number 2. Back to the top of the Jaguars order. Here's Devin Billardello, who led off the game with a single. Billardello, very recently coming off a game where he went 5 for 5 on Saturday in the comeback victory over Georgia College with 5 singles in that game. And that's a called strike. 0-1. The 0-1 misses for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike on Devin Billardello. Trying to extend the inning for Mason Robertson. And the 1-1 pitch misses 2 balls and 1 strike. The head coach for the Fighting Knights is Rudy Garbalosa. He's in his 18th season with the organization. He is the organization's all-time winningest coach. The 2-1 pitch misses downstairs, 3-1. He guided the Fighting Knights to a national championship for Division II in 2009. So he's a winner in his 18th season as the head coach of the Fighting Knights. And he has been the head coach for just about half of the team's wins in the history of the program. And Billardello draws a 2-out, 5-pitch walk. He's on base for the second time in this game. He was thrown out to end the first inning his last time. Now he's on first again with 2 outs here in the third. Jaguars trailing by a run. Here's Mason Robertson. Check on Billardello at first. He gets back. When he was on in the first inning, the Fighting Knights threw over to first 5 times before he ultimately got to second. And they've already thrown over to first with him on first here, and Robertson is yet to see a pitch. Here's the pitch to Robertson. Swung on, down the left field line, foul towards his team's own bullpen. 0-1 on Robertson, who struck out his first time up for the first out of the first. Jim Wagner on deck. The 0-1. Almost checked his swing, but held up in time on a pitch outside. Count even, a ball and a strike. And the 1-1 misses 2 balls and a strike. Dimensions here at the lake: 330 down both the right and left field lines, and 400 feet, exactly 400 feet, to straightaway center field. If you intend to hit the ball out of the park, as we see another throw over and Billardello gets back, generally, when there's a home run here at the lake by either team, either the Jaguars or the visitors, it's normally a ball down the line because of the difference in dimensions between straightaway center field and down the foul lines. The home run hit off the bat of Hobbs earlier this inning down the left field line. That's typically the sweet spot if you want to hit a home run here at the lake. Popped up foul territory, and the catch is made, and that retires the side as we go to the fourth. But not before Ty Hobbs puts the Jaguars on the board with a solo home run to lead off the inning. Jaguars trail it 2-1 as we go to the top half of the fourth here at the lake. We'll be back. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the lake. It's the top of the fourth inning. The Fighting Knights coming to bat. They lead the Jaguars here 2-1. It'll be Gabriel Martinez, the right fielder, leading it off for the Fighting Knights. 0 for 1 in this game. He struck out looking his first time up, leading off the second inning, and now he leads off the fourth inning against Jaguar starter Matt Meeks, who's given up a pair of runs off of 3 hits in this game. And first pitch swinging in the air to right field. Harrison Moore goes back. He's there, and Moore makes the catch. That's out number 1. And Martinez retired for the second time in this game. That's going to bring up Jake Rouse, who last time up singled and came in to score in the top of the second. Rouse hit the first of 2 straight singles last 2 innings ago. C followed him with a single, and both Rouse and C scored that inning. So where we stand now with the Fighting Knights leading the Jaguars 2-1. And here's the pitch to Rouse. That's a called strike, 0-1. What a difference 2 different times a day can make. The majority of the day, it was very overcast skies, looked like a threat of rain. But it has since cleared up, and there is not a single cloud in the sky at the time of this game. Still the case here in the fourth inning. Beautiful evening for Peach Belt Conference baseball in the CSRA. A ball and a strike and an out. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Rouse. And that misses for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Now the 2-1 pitch on its way to Rouse. Called strike 2, 2-2. Willie C is the designated hitter for the Fighting Knights. He's on deck. Fighting Knights 20-24 overall this season. The Jaguars an overall record of 14-31. Jaguars a very young team. Will likely see a much better campaign in 2019 with a lot of guys coming back next season. The 2-2 pitch fouled back to the screen. Count remains 2-2. If either Rouse or C can reach base, it'll be Alejandro Martinez batting next this inning, with Martinez following C in the lineup. The 2-2 misses outside, and the count is full on Rouse. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We have very contrasting experience with the head coaches in this game. As I mentioned before, Rudy Garbolosa is in his 18th season at the helm, managing the Fighting Knights of Lynn University. Helped them win a national championship. In 2009, he's the all-time winningest coach in the history of the baseball program, and has coached over half of the team's wins in the program's history. Ground to the second, throw to first in time. Rouse is retired. That's out number 2. And here's Willie C. batting with 2 outs and nobody on. And comparing him to the Jaguars head coach Chris Howell, who is just in his second season at the helm of the Augusta University Jaguar baseball team, coaching a very young team here in 2018 that will have a lot of promise moving forward going into 2019 and beyond. Here's Willie C. Here's the first pitch to C, and the first pitch that C sees is swung on and missed for strike 1. 0-1. Now the windup and the 0-1 pitch to C, swung on, high chopper to third base, fielding it on the hop perfectly. Wagner throws to first. That's in time for the third and final out. 1-2-3. Go the Fighting Knights. They lead the Jaguars 2-1, with the Jaguars coming to bat as we go to the bottom of the fourth here at the Lake. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome back here to the Lake. Jaguars will bat here in the bottom of the fourth. It'll be Jim Wagner, senior third baseman, leading off for the Jaguars. He's going to be followed by the designated hitter Timothy Gray, and then the catcher Brent Alford against Daniel Newsy. Both pitchers here in this one have pitched very well. The Jaguars have only given up 2 runs off of 3 hits, and Newsy and the Fighting Knights giving up only just 1 run off of 2 hits, the 1 run being the solo home run by Ty Hobbs to left field to lead off the bottom of last inning. And called strike to lead off the inning for Jim Wagner. He's behind in the count here. 0-1. No errors defensively for either team as of yet here in the fourth inning. The 0-1 in the air to left field, and the catch is made for out number 1. Wagner retired, 1 down here in the bottom of the fourth. Here's Timothy Gray. Gray struck out looking his first time up. That was the first out of the second inning. He bats now with already the first out made here in the bottom of the fourth. In addition to Hobbs' home run last inning, Bill Ardello drew a 2-out walk. He's the only other Jaguar to have reached base in this game. He has done so twice with a walk and a single, and was thrown out stealing third, an attempt to steal third, to end the first inning after his single. A ball and no strikes, the count on Timothy Gray. And the 1-0 grazes his leg, and Gray is on for the first time in this game. Jaguars have another base runner with 1 out, runner on first here in the bottom of the fourth, and that's going to bring up Brent Alford. Alford grounded out to the pitcher's mound his first time up. 0 for 1 in this game. Jaguars trying to return their offense to form from Friday's win. Runners going, swing and a miss on the pitch. And stealing second, Timothy Gray. That gets into the outfield on the throw, and Gray is on his way to third. So he steals second, and on the throwing error by the catcher Argumedo, advances to third, and a huge momentum swing as the Jaguars now in business with only one out and a runner on third. And good base running by the designated hitter Gray puts pressure on the catcher Argumedo, who ends up making the bad throw. And Gray takes advantage of that, goes to third. No balls and a strike, the count on Alford. And that's going to be lined in the air to center field. The catch is made. Tagging at third is Gray. And the throw home, he slides in safely. And a sacrifice fly by Brent Alford to score Timothy Gray, and the Jaguars have tied the game at 2. And talk about small ball at its finest. Just outstanding base running all around by Gray. He gets hit by pitch to get on first. Steals second, gets a good jump, and forces the catcher Argumedo into a bad throw by putting pressure on him because of the great jump. And the bad throw goes into the outfield, and he takes advantage of that, goes to third, and then scores on a sacrifice fly. And that's grounded to short, off of the glove of the shortstop Dorian on first. As a result of the infield single is Alford. And you talk about little things that advanced Gray 90 feet. With each little thing, 4 little things, and he advances 90 feet 4 times to score the tying run. And what a beautiful slide it was on the play at the plate by Gray when he came home to score and avoid the collision. And if you don't do the slide right in college baseball, that can be a disaster. And the pitch to Ty Hobbs misses in the dirt. Correction, this is Ty Hobbs, batting for the first time since homering an inning ago to lead off the third inning. Ball and no strikes. The count on Hobbs. And that pitch also misses. 2 balls and no strikes. On Hobbs trying to extend the inning for Patrick Watson, who waits on deck. And the 2-0, that may have hit him, and it did. Second hit batsman of the inning. Jaguars, with the game tied at 2, have 2 on and 2 outs, as Moore is going to advance to second. Moore, who singled with 2 outs, advances to second on the hit batsman. And here's the number 8 hitter, Patrick Watson, with an RBI opportunity coming up with the go-ahead run at second base. And the Fighting Knights calling time here, and we'll have a mound visit and potentially get their bullpen ready here this inning. As for the first time in this game, Newsy has ran into trouble. He faced the minimum for the first 2 innings, and then Hobb ended that streak with a home run to lead off the third. And that put the Jaguars on the board 2-1. And the minimum faced for having given up only 1 run ended when Bill Ardello last inning drew a 2-out walk and was stranded on first when Wagner popped out to shortstop. Correction, when Robertson popped out to shortstop, Wagner flew out to left to lead off this inning. And that was followed by Gray being hit by pitch, stealing second, advancing to third on the throwing error on the throwdown by Argumedo, the catcher of the Fighting Knights, on the same stolen base play, and then scoring on a sacrifice fly. As my partner in crime, who is unfortunately not here tonight due to other obligations, Blake Collins would say, the ABCs of baseball at its finest. And that's how Gray was able to score that tying run this inning. using the ABCs of baseball to perfection. Small ball, manufacturing home runs, taking advantage of the little things. And the little things lead to a big thing in the tying run scoring this inning. A ball and no strikes on Watson. And now the 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Check on the runners at first and second. The 1-1 pitch misses, and Argumeda thought about a snap throw to second, but holds up as Moore was able to get back. And the high risk and a low reward in that case. Argumeda decides against it. 2 balls and a strike. 2 on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Batter is Watson. And now the 2-1. That's a called strike. And the count is even 2-2 for the second time in this game. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Runners in first and second. Here at the bottom of the fourth. And each team with 2 runs in this game off of 3 hits. Advantage nobody, essentially, in that sense. Check on the runners. 2-2 pitch on its way. Lined foul. And it's going to bounce off of the side of the roof covering the stands, and it's going to bounce back on the ricochet back into the field of play on the foul ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Watson. And head coach Chris Howell on his way out to claim that foul ball after it ricocheted back into the field. And the 2-2 swing and a miss. Down on strikes Watson, and down in the inning go the Jaguars, but not before they add another run and tie the game at 2. We go to the 5th on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Back at the lake now for the top half of the 5th inning. Game tied at 2. And the leadoff hitter will be Alejandro Martinez, the first baseman for the Fighting Knights. He'll be followed by Alec Ojeda, and then the top of the order, and Tom Archer for this very good Lynn University Fighting Knight offense that has been held in check for the most part in this game by Jaguar starter Matt Meeks, pitching very well, showing why he is normally chosen to start a Friday night game in the beginning of a weekend series. Doing so again here. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. 0-2. Now the 0-2 on its way, and that misses for another ball. 1-2 on Martinez. Each team 2 runs off of 3 hits in this game. The Fighting Knights with 1 error defensively, the Jaguars with no errors. The Fighting Knights with the 8-9-1 hitters due up to start this inning here in the 5th, as Martinez pops one that up. Towering pop fly. That's in foul territory. Wagner goes over from third base and makes the catch for out number 1, and the Jaguars will have the 9-1-2 hitters due up in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Hard to really give any team an advantage here at this point. And here's Alec Ojeda. Ojeda singled home a pair of runners with 2 outs. His first time up back in the 2nd inning, and the Fighting Knights number 9 hitter is 1 for 1 in this game. He looks at a ball inside, 1-0. His 2-run single that inning resulted in the only runs scored so far in this game by the Fighting Knights. Now 2 balls and no strikes now is the count. Another action going on in the world of sports here this weekend. My understanding, a lot of college football teams have their spring games this weekend as well, in addition to the NFL draft, the NBA playoffs, and the NHL playoffs. So each of the major sports leagues having a busy weekend in some capacity. 3 balls, no strikes, the count on Ojeda. Ojeda, in his first 2 plate appearances in this game, has not yet seen a strike thrown. He was ahead in the count 2-0 at the time when he singled last at bat. He's ahead here 3-0. And now he looks at a strike, count 3-1. He was likely taking all the way there. Has not really had a chance to swing the bat except on the time where he singled. The 3-1. He swings at the 3-1, and it's a soft grounder to short. Maddox, hard throw to first. In time for out number 2. Hobbs had to stretch a little bit, but is able to keep his foot on the bag for out number 2. Good athletic play by the first baseman, Hobbs. So he had to stretch to make the play and make the out. It's out number 2 in this inning. Back to the top of the order for the Fighting Knights, Tom Archer, 0 for 2 in this game, a strikeout and a groundout. And he looks at a ball, 1-0. Meeks has struck out a pair of hitters in this game. Struck out Archer his last time up, which ended the 2nd inning. He struck out Martinez to begin the 2nd inning. Those are his only strikeouts so far in this game. The 1-0 pitch grounded to short. Throw across the diamond in time for out number 3. And 1-2-3 for the 2nd inning in a row go the Fighting Knights. We remain tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 5th here at the Lake. We'll be back. Welcome back to the lake. Jaguars will see their shortstop and number 9 hitter Trent Maddox lead off here in the bottom of the 5th. We are tied at 2, each team with 2 runs off of 3 hits. In this game, Maddox will be followed by the top of the order Devin Billardello and then Mason Robertson. If any of them reach, it'll be Jim Wagner's spot due up 4th. Here this inning, that's fouled over the net and into the stands behind home plate for strike 1, 0-1. The count on the shortstop Trent Maddox. Grounded out his first time up in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1 here in this game. It's been a very good, well-played game on both sides so far here in this game. Grounded to short, and the throw is in time. And for the second time this game in his many bats for Maddox, he grounds out to his counterpart at short for out number 1 here in the 5th. Did so for out number 2 in the 3rd, his first time up. Here's Devin Billardello. Billardello has reached base in each of his first 2 plate appearances in this game. He has singled and drawn a walk. His single was erased when he was caught stealing 3rd to end the first inning, which ended a Jaguars offensive threat. And that misses just outside. Count 1-0 on Devin Billardello. Both bullpens empty so far here in the 5th inning. Both pitchers have pitched very well, giving the coaches no reason to have someone ready at all in their bullpen. 2 balls and no strikes on Billardello. Let's not forget Billardello was 5 for 5 in Saturday's game with 5 singles. So he's the kind of guy that knows how to get on base, and he is the team's leader in average. That's why he is primarily the team's leadoff hitter as well this season. Two balls and a strike. Grounded. That's going to be off of the glove of Newsy. He finds the ball, throws to first on a rifle, and that's in time. Throws a fastball to first for out number 2. And Billardello's retired for the first time in this game. And that's going to bring up Mason Robertson. Robertson 0 for 2 in this game, a strikeout and a flyout. And the pitch to Robertson, and that misses for a ball. 1-0. On Robertson, trying to extend the inning for Jim Wagner here in the 5th. The 1-0 pitch to the Jaguars freshman second baseman, misses high and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Here in Augusta, Georgia, just 3 weeks removed from the famous Masters tournament held just down the road from here. What a great tournament that was. And it was won by a alum of Augusta University, believe it or not. 3 balls and no strikes on Mason Robertson. Jaguars spent that weekend hosting USC Aiken for a 3-game series here at the lake during Masters weekend. Great weekend of baseball and golf here at Augusta. 3 balls and 1 strike. The count now as Robertson takes all the way. And the 3-1 grounded to third, and the throw across the diamond, high throw in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 go the Jaguars here in inning number 5. We go to the 6th inning. We are still tied at 2. Good game here at the lake. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome you back here to the lake. Top of the sixth inning, tied at 2. Joe Argumedo, the starting catcher for the Fighting Knights of Lynn University, leading it off here in this inning against Matt Meeks on the mound for the Jaguars. And the first pitch is a ball, 1-0. Meeks has pitched extremely well, has retired the last 8 hitters he has faced and has faced the minimum for the last 3 1/3. And the 0-1 fouled away. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Argumedo. And now the 1-1 pitch on its way. And that misses outside for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jaguars defensive infield playing on the edge of the grass and the dirt. Top of the infield here. Expecting Argumedo to hit the ball hard. Dorian is on deck, the team's leading hitter. The 2-1 fouled away by Argumedo, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Argumedo grounded out and has been hit by pitch in this game. 0-for-1. Now the 2-2 on its way, swung on, lined, foul, and we'll have a do-over. As it so looks, Georgia College will, of course, be the 1 seed in the conference tournament. That's been all but wrapped up for several weeks now with the historic season they've had. That's lined right to Meeks off his glove, but he makes the throw in time on the hard-hit line drive. 4 out number 1 retires Argumedo. Here's going to be Patrick Dorian. That brings up the starting shortstop for the Fighting Knights. Team's leading hitter has walked and hit a sacrifice ground out in this game. With Georgia College having the 1 seed in the conference tournament wrapped up, it appears as though the Pacers of USC Aiken will likely be the 2, and Columbus State will be the 3 seed, with Flagler and North Georgia the 4 and 5. And it's between UNC Pembroke and Young Harris for seeds 6 and 7, and Francis Marion wrapping up the 8th seed. Top 8 go to the conference tournament in the Peach Belt Conference. A ball and a strike on Dorian. Jaguars have played their last conference game, which was Sunday, against Georgia College, dropping the rubber match of a 3-game series 9-5 here at the Lake. And they wrap up their season here with non-conference action, a 3-game non-conference series here at the Lake starting tonight against Lynn. Doubleheader tomorrow for games 2 and 3. No game on Sunday, and that wraps up the 2018 campaign. Foul territory, left field. Watson goes over. He's unable to get it. He was right there in position, but was unable to make the catch, and he's beside himself about that one. Count is a ball and 2 strikes on Dorian. After Dorian, it'll be Shane Fontana, the cleanup hitter, on deck. The 1-2. Swung on. That's in the air to left field. Watson is there once again, and this time he makes the catch in fair territory, canceling out the inability on the foul ball. 4 out number 2. And here's Shane Fontana, 0 for 2 in this game, as the cleanup hitter for the Fighting Knights. What a very good, well-played game we have seen on both sides here in this game. So here's Shane Fontana once again. He's 0 for 2, trying to extend the inning, as we have now seen 9 straight retired by Meeks. Actually, that's 11 straight. or 10 straight since there was an out in the third inning. There hasn't been a single base runner since for the Fighting Knights. The 1-0 called strike. 1-1. Now the 1-1 on its way, and that's lined, and that's foul. Across Millage Road over towards Lake Olmsted. The lake in which gave this great ballpark its name, Lake Olmsted Stadium here in Augusta. Built in the early 90s, former home of the Giants single-A affiliate, the Augusta Green Jackets, who opened up a brand new stadium earlier this month, just across the river in North Augusta, South Carolina, SRP Park, a beautiful new stadium that the Green Jackets play at now. Green Jackets played their last game here at the lake last Labor Day and left the lake here to rule the river. The 2-2 pitch to Fontana misses for a ball. Count is full, 3-2 with one out, nobody on Fontana. Once again, the game is tied at 2. Both teams with 2 runs off of 3 hits. That has been the case since there were 2 outs in the 4th inning. There has not been a single base runner for either team since the mark of 2 outs and nobody in the bottom of the 4th. The Jaguars at that time had 2 runners on base, stranded both of them. That was after scoring the tying run, which tied the game at 2, and that's where we stand now. And just as we speak, we have a base runner for the first time since then as Fontana reaches base, and the streak of 10 straight retired since Argumedo was hit by pitch to lead off the third is over as Fontana draws a 2-out walk that extends the inning for Gabriel Martinez. All 3 of the Lynn hits in this game came in the 2nd inning, in which they scored their only 2 runs of this game as well. Outside of the 2-run 2nd inning, not only have they not scored any runs, but they do not have any hits to account for outside of that inning either. Ball and no strikes, they count on Martinez. Now the 1-0 misses in the dirt. That gets by Alford on his way to second. Fontana on what should be a wild pitch. And time is called, and Chris Howell's going to go out and have a quick word with Matt Meeks. He's going to bring Alford, his catcher, out there to join in the conversation as well. The bullpen's going to start to get busy for the Jaguars. This is a very small sign of trouble with the streak of retired hitters ending in Fontana drawing a walk and a wild pitch allowing Fontana to go to second. And now here in the 6th inning, this is typically where you see the Jaguars go to their bullpen, and they'll do so here. Meeks has pitched very well, however, and you'd think if he's able to get out of this inning here in the 6th, the question is, would he come back for the 7th, or would the Jaguars go to their bullpen the rest of the way? You would think they'd want to rest their bullpen as much as possible with a doubleheader tomorrow, although tomorrow's doubleheader is the last day of the season. So you'd wonder if rest really matters at this point. We'll see how they play their cards. Ball, no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes, I should say, is the count on Martinez. And the 2-0 pitch misses for a ball. 3 balls and no strikes. Howell gets 1 free mound visit per half inning, in which he does not have to pull his pitcher. He has already used his visit this half inning. If he goes back out there, he's going to be forced to make a pitching change. The 3-0 pitch is there for a called strike on Martinez, who is taking with a 3-0 count and first base open. Count now 3-1. Trying to extend the inning for Jake Rouse. And the 3-1. Called strike 2 was 3-0. 2 called strikes later, count is full, 3-2. Once again, first base is open, so a walk is not necessarily the worst thing that can happen here. Although you certainly wouldn't want to lose Martinez if you don't have to. And now the 3-2. Lined foul, and for the second time in this game, we see a foul ball ricochet off the side of the roof covering the stands and fall back into the field to play. Count remains full on Martinez. We are awaiting the 7th pitch of the at-bat. Now the 3-2. Swung on, lined foul. Count remains full. Go-ahead run is Fontana on second in scoring position. And a big RBI opportunity here with 2 outs and Martinez. Opportunity for him to extend the inning and put the Fighting Knights back on top. That's fouled away. And the catch is made in foul territory by the first baseman, Ty Hobbs. And that ends the inning. Jaguars walk a batter with 2 outs, but it doesn't matter as the Fighting Knights strand the runner on second. We remain tied at 2 as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. We'll be back. We are now back here at the lake, tied at 2. Jaguars coming to bat. Jim Wagner will lead it off. He'll be followed by Timothy Gray and Brent Alford as the Jaguars will begin the inning with their 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up. If any of them reach, it'll be Harrison Moore. Jim Wagner, the senior third baseman in this game, is 0 for 2. He has grounded out and flown out so far. Here in game 1 of this 3-game weekend series, the final one of the 2018 season. Wagner looks at a ball downstairs, count 1 ball and no strikes. Beautiful night here at the lake. Just absolutely beautiful night for baseball. On Millage Road across the lake from Lake Olmsted. That's through the hole on the right side. A leadoff base hit. A single for Jim Wagner, and the Jaguars have the leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And here's the designated hitter, Timothy Gray. Gray with the outstanding inning 2 innings ago. He came up to bat. He struck out looking to begin the 2nd inning. He came up again with an out in the bottom of the 4th and nobody on. The Jaguars at that point trailed 2-1. He was hit by the pitch, stole second, advanced to third on an error as Wagner is going, and Gray chops one foul, and it's just an opportunity for Wagner to do a little wind sprint. He has to go back to first, count 0-1 on Gray. He stole second after being hit by the pitch in the 4th inning with nobody else on and 1 out and the Jaguars trailing by a run. He advanced to third on a throwing error by Joe Argumedo, the Fighting Knights catcher. He advanced to third on that same play where he stole second. Check on the runner Wagner at first. He gets back. And then a sacrifice fly by Brent Alford scored Gray from third. And it was borderline in terms of being deep enough to score the run. But good heads-up base running by Gray and good speed and a beautiful slide into home plate to avoid collision on the throw home allowed him to get in ahead of the tag and score the tying run. Ground to the second, throw to second, in time to get Wagner. What an outstanding defensive play by the Fighting Knights. Wagner was running with the pitch, ready to steal, but the Fighting Knights were still able to make the play and throw him out at second because of how hard hit the ball was, and obviously the fact that it was hit close to second, and the shortstop Dorian, who on a hard hit ball was able to throw to second and just get Wagner, who had a good jump trying to steal second, and they get the fielder's choice. This is about as good of a fielder's choice play as you'll see at any level of baseball if you're able to throw out the lead runner who is attempting to steal. Runner up first now is Gray with one out and Brent Alford at the plate. A ball and no strikes on Alford, who his last time up had the sacrifice fly in the fourth inning, which scored Gray to tie the game at 2. That's where we stand now. That was followed by Harrison Moore's single. With 2 outs that inning, Moore waits on deck. Since Moore's single in the fourth inning, there had not been a single base hit until Wagner's single this inning to lead off. 2 balls and no strikes, the count on Alford. Runner on first, 1 out. Here's the pitch, and that misses outside. 3 balls and no strikes. This may or may not be a stealing count for Gray. He is a good base runner, as we saw back in the fourth inning. See what they do here. Potentially a taking count for Alford. We'll see about that as well. And now the 3-0 pitch. That's a called strike, 3-1. Obviously, Alford was taking all the way, and we'll see if he takes all the way again on 3-1. And if this is a steal count here for Gray, we'll see. Barring a double play ball, Harrison Moore is on deck. He'll hit next. Gray represents the go-ahead run at first, and Alford pops one up, and that's foul, and the count is full. It's going to land on the roof of the stadium. Full count, 1 out, runner on first. Tied game at 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Harrison Moore on deck, Brent Alford at the plate. Runner on first is Timothy Gray for the Jaguars. Check on the runner. And Gray gets back safely. Approaching 8 o'clock on the East Coast here at the lake. The 3-2 pitch popped up left side. That's going to be fouled into the stands. Count remains 3-2. That may have landed on the roof as well. It's generally a loud clunk when a ball lands on the roof of this stadium. Lately, we've seen some very exciting promotional material here at the lake for the Jaguars games. Last Saturday's game was Cancer Awareness Day. We saw a very special ceremonial first pitch that day. We saw a special first pitch ceremony here as well in today's game, and several nice in-between inning promotions, which included musical chairs. You don't normally see a lot of those in college baseball, but there has been some tonight. That's in the gap in right center field. Gray to third. They're going to wave him around. It's a double for Alford. The throw home. Gray dives home safely. For the second time in this game, Gray scores a run, and the Jaguars take the lead for the first time in this game. They lead it 3-2 on an RBI double by Alford. And what an outstanding game Gray has had at the plate. He scored the tying run 2 innings ago and scores the go-ahead run here in the 6th. And still 1 out. The Jaguars with a 3-2 lead, and we have a mound visit. Check at the bullpen. That's going to be the end of the night for Daniel Newsy. He pitched very well in this game in what has been a great pitcher's duel so far. Newsy has given up 3 runs off of 5 hits, and he is responsible for the runner on second. Statistically, his night is not yet over. We will let you know all about the new starter, or the new reliever into the game, I should say, for the Fighting Knights on the other side of this break. We'll be back. Welcome back to the lake. The Fighting Knights have made a pitching change. Their new pitcher is Victor Donza, the right-hander. A 6.67 ERA this season. This is his 17th appearance. He has made 1 start this season, and despite the high ERA, he has a record of 4-1 and has recorded 20 strikeouts in his first 16 appearances of 2018. More fouls, 1 away, nothing in 1. Trying to extend the inning for Hobbs. He's got a runner on second and just 1 out this inning. The 1 out being the fielder's choice that Gray hit into. And Gray came in to score on the double by Alford, and Alford remains on second here with 1 out. That's fouled away, nothing in 2 on Moore. And if you're a pitcher just entering a ball game, Harrison Moore is not the hitter you'd want to face right away. He has a 307 average this season for the Jaguars and 32 RBIs, and he has a big opportunity for a 33rd RBI standing on second. Grounded to short, throw to first in time, but the runner advances to third. So Alford, the runner on third with 2 outs, and that's going to bring up Ty Hobbs, who homered in this game already once before. Hobbs homered and has also been hit by pitch in this game. Hobbs was hit by pitch for the 8th time on the season earlier on in this game. And his 10th home run of the season and 29th RBI as a result of the home run. His 10th home run leads the team. He's a very power hitter, despite hitting .243 this season. He has a lot of power with that bat. And he pops 1 up. It's a towering pop fly, and that's going to go foul. Nothing in 2, the count. Here with 2 outs and the runner Alford on third. Patrick Watson on deck for the Jaguars in the top half of the 7th inning. Coming up, it'll be Jake Rouse, Willie C., and Alejandro Martinez, the hitters due up to start the inning for the Fighting Knights. And the 1-1 pitch misses outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. The count on Hobbs. Jaguars have taken the lead this inning, 3-2. They have 3 runs off of 5 hits, no errors. The Fighting Knights with 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error. The 2-1 pitch misses, 3 balls and a strike on Hobbs. The Jaguars have scored a run in the 3rd, a run on the 4th, and a run so far here in the 6th, but they're not done as of yet here in the 6th. The Fighting Knights scoring all their runs and getting all 3 of their hits in this game coming in the 2nd inning. And the 3-1 pitch is a called strike on Hobbs and the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 6th inning on this beautiful night in the CSRA. That's lined in the center field. That's going to be caught on the line drive, on a hard hit line drive by the center fielder Shane Fontana. That ends the 6th inning. The Jaguars strand a runner on 3rd, but not before getting a run home and taking the lead here at the lake. 3-2. We go to the top of the 7th. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome back to the lake. It's the top of the 7th. The Jaguars have taken the lead 3-2. Starter Matt Meeks is back on the hill. He's gone 6 innings so far, given up only 2 runs off of 3 hits. All of those coming in the 2nd inning. He has pitched very well in this game. He's going to face Jake Rouse for the 3rd time tonight. And the first pitch in the 3rd at bat of the game by Rouse, swing and a miss for strike 1, 0-1. Just in case the Jaguars run into more trouble this inning, Ben Parr is on his way down to the bullpen to start to loosen up. The Jaguars will do what they can to close this game out with a 1-run lead here in the 7th. A called strike, 2 on Rouse, 0-2. Now the 0-2 on its way, swung on, fouled. Back to the screen, Rouse stays alive. Count 0-2. Now the 0-2 fouled away again. Good at bat by Rouse, spoiling some pitches. Trying to battle back behind in the count. Still 1-2. Still no balls and 2 strikes, I should say. We saw Victor Donza get out of the inning for the Fighting Knights in the bottom of the 6th. We'll see if they bring him back in the bottom of the 7th or if they go with someone else. Popped up foul territory once again, and that's going to go foul once again. Count remains 0-2. Awaiting the 6th pitch of this at bat. Rouse still behind in the count, 0-2. And now the 0-2 swung on in the air to left field. Watson charging, he slides, and he makes the catch! Patrick Watson makes the catch in the slide, charging the ball in left field for a loud and huge out number 1. And that's going to bring up Willie C. After Rouse is retired, C 1 for 2 in this game, a single and a ground out and a run scored. Will be followed by Alejandro Martinez. If either of them reach, it'll be Alec Ojeda, the number 9 hitter, batting for the Fighting Knights. And now the count, a ball and no strikes. And now the 1-0 called strike, 1-1 on Willie C. And now the 1-1 chop foul, 1-2. Meeks has done an outstanding job in this game in getting it ahead in counts, and that so far has really, for the most part, worked to his favor. Big reason why he's pitched so well. C's trying to extend the inning for Alejandro Martinez. And the 1-2 pitch misses. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Count on Martinez, who stays alive there. A correction, the count on C. He's the designated hitter in this game for the Fighting Knights. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. And C down on strikes. That's out number 2 for Martinez, who's going to try and extend the inning for Ojeda, who will be on deck. Alec Ojeda, the number 9 hitter, waiting on deck now for the Fighting Knights with Alejandro Martinez, the first baseman, coming to bat. Martinez is 0 for 2 in this game. A ground out, a sacrifice ground out, and a fly out. The ground out advanced Rouse and C to second and third from first and second after they both hit back-to-back singles with 1 out in the second inning. And that ground out advancing the runners allowed Ojeda to follow by scoring them both from second and third on a single. Since then, there have been no runs and no hits in this game by a player on the Fighting Knights. No balls and a strike. And the 0-1 misses, count 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 misses, 2 balls and a strike on Martinez. Alford on his way out to talk to Meeks. The bullpen, it's busy for the Jaguars, but it's not too busy. Ben Parr has been warming up casually just in case. Nothing too urgent, though, the way they appear to be handling it, although Chris Howell has just made a signal down there. So we'll see what that's about shortly. The count is actually 3-0 on Martinez, and he takes all the way, and the count's 3-1 on a called strike. Now we'll see if he takes here with the count 3-1, 2 outs and nobody on. And the 3-1, and he does get the green light, and he fouls one away. 3-2, the count on Martinez. And the 3-2, swung on, grounded to third, fielded by Wagner. Beautiful throw across the diamond. Another great play for the out. And that ends the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning forced by the Jaguars defensively. Time to stretch at the Lake. Jaguars come to bat, lead it 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Welcome back to Lake Homestead Stadium. We have concluded the 7th inning stretch that sends the Jaguars to the plate. In the bottom of the 7th, Patrick Watson will lead it off for the Jaguars. He'll be followed by Trent Maddox and Devin Villardello. The Jaguars with a one-run lead at 3-2. Victor Donza back on the hill for the Fighting Knights. He pitched 2/3 of an inning so far. He came on in relief with one out in the bottom of the 6th inning after the Jaguars took a 3-2 lead and had a runner on second. That ended the night for the starter, Daniel Newsy. And he came on and got the Fighting Knights out of a jam, forced the Jaguars to strand the runner on second. And he's back on here on the mound to begin the bottom of the 7th. First pitch to Patrick Watson is a called strike. 0-1. Watson in this game is 0 for 2. He's flown out, and he has struck out in this game so far. Once again, he's going to be followed by Trent Maddox. And then we'll be back to the top of the Jaguar order after that. And Devin Villardello. And the 0-1 pitch misses for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Count is even on Patrick Watson. Jaguars have struggled for most of the season. However, they have won 2 out of their last 3 games, winning Saturday and Wednesday, but falling on Sunday. Fouled back to the screen, count 1-2 on Patrick Watson. If either Maddox, Watson, or Villardello will reach, the freshman second baseman, Mason Robertson, will bat. The 1-2 misses inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Patrick Watson. A even .250 hitter on the season is Watson. Slugging percentage of .308. Jaguars would love little insurance runs. Give the defense a little breathing room as much as they can in the 8th and 9th inning. Towering fly ball to center field off the bat of Watson. And the catch is made for out number 1. And it's going to bring up the shortstop Trent Maddox. Maddox in this game is 0 for 2. He is grounded out on each of his first 2 plate appearances to his counterpart at shortstop. 2-6-3 ground outs for Maddox. And here he is for the 3rd time at the plate in this game with 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 7th. Jaguars once again lead at 3-2, 3 runs off of 5 hits, no errors. The Fighting Knights with 2 runs off of 3 hits and 1 error in this game. A called strike to Maddox, 0-1. Game 1 of a 3-game weekend series. Games 2 and 3 will be tomorrow, beginning at 1 o'clock as part of a doubleheader to end the season. 2018 campaign will come to an end tomorrow for the Jaguars, and we wrap it up and should be also getting ready for what will be a very exciting 2019 campaign. It should be a promising young team this year with a lot of players coming back next year for the Jaguars. A lot of room for improvement. The 1-1 pitch swing and a miss by Maddox, count 1-2. With Bill Ardello on deck. Jaguars 14-31 overall, 8-22 in conference play this season. In 9th place. And they have clinched 9th place this season, and the top 8 make the conference tournament. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Trent Maddox. And the 2-2 misses, and the count is full. And the Jaguars would love a base runner and make a threat to score insurance runs here with a 3-2 lead. As I said before, they want to give their defense as much breathing room as they possibly can. And the 3-2 swing and a miss, down on strikes Maddox for out number 2. Here in the 7th inning, Maddox is 0 for 3. We're back to the top of the order, and Devin Billardello with 2 outs and nobody on. Devin Billardello, now the batter for the Jaguars. And we have a mound visit here. 2 outs and nobody on. Watson has flown out, and Maddox has struck out already this inning. Against Victor Donza, who has retired each of the first 4 hitters he has faced, dating back to when there was 1 out in the bottom of the 6th when he came on in relief. As I mentioned before, this is his 17th appearance, and despite the higher ERA of 6.67, has a record of 4-1. He's recorded 20 strikeouts in his first 16 appearances, and now 21 in his first 17 as he has struck out Maddox here. And at bat a go. A ball and no strikes now the count on Bill Ardello. And count now even at a ball and a strike. Two outs, nobody on. A ball and a strike on Bill Ardello. And that's lined in the air to center field. That's a base hit. Bill Ardello is on with 2 outs here in the 7th. He's on for the 3rd time in this game, his 2nd single, as he continues to just do whatever he has to do to get on base. It's what he's best at. That's why he leads the team in average this season for the Jaguars, and that's also why he's the leadoff hitter on a regular basis. And here's Mason Robertson. Robertson looking for his first of the night. He's 0 for 3, a strikeout, a flyout, and a groundout. And that's in the dirt, and that's going to allow Bill Ardello to go to second on a wild pitch. So that puts Bill Ardello in scoring position, representing potential insurance runs here. And that also opens up first base. So, changes the complexion of the inning. Does a wild pitch with Robertson up. Robertson, once again, he's hitless tonight, trying to extend the inning for Jim Wagner. And that's a ball in the dirt, 1-0. Correction, the count on Robertson is 2-0. Very pleasant evening here at the lake. The 2-0 pitch misses inside, 3 balls and no strikes is the count. On Robertson. And now the 3-0. That's a called strike, 3-1. Robertson is taken all the way. On either side, we have not seen a single 4-pitch walk in this game by either team. We've seen several 3-0 counts, and each time the hitter takes for a called strike. The 3-1 chopped foul, count is full on Robertson. The 3-2 pitch, towering pop fly, foul territory, and that's going to stay foul. And for Robertson, the at-bat continues. On deck, Jim Wagner, who's 1 for 3 in this game, singled his last time up. Also flew out and grounded out after his single last time up. He was thrown out at second on a fielder's choice play. The 3-2 pitch to Robertson, and that misses upstairs for ball 4. Robertson draws a walk, 2 on and 2 outs. Big RBI opportunity coming up for Jim Wagner. Wagner, like I said, he singled his last time up. If he singles again, you'll likely see Bill Ardello score from second. He's got the speed to do so. And we have a mound visit, and that'll likely be it for Victor Donza as he has ran into trouble after retiring the first 4 hitters he faced out of the bullpen, has seen the next 2 guys get on base after that. And we have a mound visit. The entire infield is in to discuss the situation. So far, no move to the bullpen, however. And is it starting to appear as though they're trying to have a discussion on how to pitch to Wagner and how to handle the ball being hit if it gets hit here with 2 on and 2 outs. And you'd think with there being 2 outs, the message to a defense is just focus on the easy out and get the runner on first. Basically, if a lead runner comes in to score or is threatening to do so, if you get a force play at any base and the easiest is generally first, that wipes away the run regardless. Same with a fly out in baseball. The only instance where you can score on a play where the 3rd out is made is, of course, on a tag out if you touch home plate before the tag out is made. On a force out and a fly out, the run does not count no matter what. That's why you see defenses a lot of times just throw the first for the easy out. Here's Jim Wagner, 1 for 3 in this game with a single. Made some nice plays defensively as he does day after day at third base for the Jaguars. First pitch, swinging back to the screen, foul. 0-1. On deck, Timothy Gray, the star of Saturday's win for the Jaguars. The 0-1 misses 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 on, 2 out. Jaguars lead it 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th at Lake Olmsted Stadium. It'll be Alec Ojeda, Tom Archer, and Ryan Argumedo, the 9-1-2 hitters, due up to start the top of the 8th. upcoming for the Fighting Knights. The 1-1 pitch. This is inside. 2 balls and 1 strike on Jim Wagner. Now the 2-1 pitch. Called strike 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Deuces are wild now for the 3rd time in this game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on, with the runners on 1st and 2nd. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Jaguars lead it 3-2. And the 2-2 pitch on its way, and that's chopped foul, and that bounces over the foul net and into the stands behind home plate. I don't think I've ever seen that high of a bouncer foul behind home plate before at any level of baseball. And that caught several fans off guard, seeing the high hop there on that foul ball. My goodness. And Argumedo's out to talk to Donza here. Count remains 2-2 on Wagner. Wagner, along with Robertson, who preceded him with a walk, these are the 2 guys with an especially high amount of plate discipline. And Robertson, just a freshman, showing plate discipline. And that swung on, and Wagner down on strikes. He did not realize that Argumento had not managed to catch the ball and was on his way to the dugout and was tagged out and did not attempt to run to first base, not realizing that the 3rd strike was dropped. And the 3rd out is made. The Jaguars strand 2, but still lead at 3-2 as we go to the 8th here at the Lake. We'll be back. Welcome you back here to the Lake. It's the top half of the 8th inning. Matt Meeks, who has pitched outstanding on the mound through 7 innings of work in his start for the Jaguars, back on the hill for the 8th, and why not? After as well as he's pitched, he deals a ball up and away to Alec Ojeda, ahead in the count 1-0. Ojeda is 1 for 2 in this game with a single, and he has driven in the only 2 Fighting Knights runs so far in this game back in the 2nd inning. And he's also grounded out back in the 5th. Since his single, with 2 outs in the 2nd to score those 2 runs, not only have the Fighting Knights not scored before or after then, they have not had any hits since that point in the second inning. And that's to the credit of the outstanding pitching of Matt Meeks that we've seen on the mound in this game. He's ahead of Ojeda 1-2. The Jaguars have their bullpen ready just in case. The 1-2, and that misses for a ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I did mention this early on, most notably during the pregame. Meeks has thrown a complete game this season. That came on February the 23rd against Georgia Southwestern, the Jaguars winning that game 7-3. So he's shown he can do it before. Can he do it again? Still got plenty of work to do here, though, in this one. That's a towering pop fly on the 2-2 pitch. Maddox, calling off his teammates, goes out to the outfield grass from shortstop and makes the catch for out number 1. A very huge first out, as we are now back at the top of the order for the Fighting Knights and Tom Archer, who has had a rough day at the plate, 0 for 3, 2 ground outs and a strikeout. He represents the tying run, and Argumedo, who's on deck, representing the go-ahead run with 1 out, nobody on in the top of the 8th. 3-2 Jaguars with the lead here in this one. And here's the windup and the pitch to Archer. Misses upstairs 1-0. Since the 2-run second inning by the Fighting Knights, Meeks has faced the minimum in every inning since then, with the exception of the second inning, when he walked Shane Montana with 2 outs. He did face a base runner, however, when Argumedo, who waits on deck, was hit by a pitch to lead off the third, but he was later picked off a second base. And as a result, Meeks pitched a 1-2-3 inning that inning. Those are the only base runners that the Fighting Knights have had since the second inning, both reaching as a result of a walk and a hit by pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike. The count on Archer. The 2-1. That's a towering pop fly in the air to left field. Watson is there. He's under it, and Watson makes the catch for out number 2. And now it's game time here this inning for the Fighting Knights, unless they want to be forced to fight in the top of the 9th. Here's Argumedo. Argumedo is 0 for 2 in this game with a pair of groundouts and the hit by pitch, as I mentioned earlier. And that's grounded right back to Meeks. Throw to first. In time. And a 1-2-3 third inning. Or a 1-2-3 eighth inning, I should say. Defensively for the Jaguars, they still lead at 3-2. We go to the bottom of the 8th here at the Lake. We'll be back. Welcome back to Lake Olmsted Stadium. Jaguars come to bat, leading it 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Jaguars looking for insurance runs. Matt Meeks, the starter for the Jaguars, has pitched the full 8 innings so far. 2 runs off of 3 hits. He has given up all of those in the second inning. Outside of the second inning, he has not allowed a run or a hit in this game outside of the second inning. Timothy Gray will lead it off for the Jaguars here in the bottom of the 8th. And Victor Danza back on the hill, continuing his relief appearance. He has not allowed a run out of the bullpen so far in this game for the Fighting Knights. And the first pitch to Gray misses for a ball, 1-0. Gray, so far in this game, he has scored 2 of the 3 Jaguar runs. And he has done so by mastering the ABCs of baseball. The 1-0 pitch misses 2 balls and no strikes. In the 4th inning, he came to bat with 1 out and nobody on. At the time, the Jaguars were trailing at 2-1. He was hit by pitch. He stole second, advanced to third on a wild throw to second on an attempted pickoff throw on the stolen base by the starting catcher Joe Argumedo of the Fighting Knights. Allowed him to go to third. And then he scored the tying run on a sacrifice fly from third. Sacrifice fly by Brent Alford, which tied the game at 2. And then after Jim Wagner led off the bottom of the 6th with a single, as Gray pops up the 2-1 pitch to right field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Gray leads off with a Texas Leaguer single, as that pop fly was just out of the reach of Gabe Martinez in right field, who was just playing a little bit too far. And Gray takes advantage and is on base for the 3rd time in this game. This is his first hit, however, as I talk about how he has mastered the ABCs of baseball. After Jim Wagner led off with a single in the 6th, Gray grounded into a fielder's choice play, which had Wagner thrown out at second. And then Gray scored from first on a double by Alford to give the Jaguars a lead, 3-2. And now Gray is on first with nobody out here in the 8th, looking to score again and give the Jaguars an insurance run or 2 here this inning. Give the defense as much breathing room as possible going in the 9th, as Alford pulls bunt, has to duck out of the way of that one to avoid being hit. It's a ball, 1-0. This has been an outstanding game here at the lake. A great game of baseball and a beautiful night for baseball as well. Ball, no strikes on Alford. Let's not forget Gray's heroics on Saturday as well. And the 1-0 pitch, Alford gets the bunt down. It's a good bunt, and Donza fields it on the mound, throws to first in time. And the sacrifice bunt is a success, as Gray is on second with 1 out. Representing an insurance run in scoring position, that opens up first base for the Jaguars with Harrison Moore coming to bat here in this one. 1 out, runner on second. Jaguars still lead it 3-2. They have a run in this game in the 3rd, the 4th, and the 6th inning. Now let's not forget, it was the leadoff home run, solo home run by Ty Hobbs to lead off the 3rd inning. That trimmed the deficit from 2-0 to 2-1 for the Jaguars. And that, in a sense, may have turned this game around. It's been all Jaguars since. At the time, the starter for the Fighting Knights, Daniel Newsy, had faced the minimum up until that point. And that's popped up, and the catch is made at shortstop for out number 2. And Gray will have to hold at second, and that's going to bring up Ty Hobbs, who did have that big home run to left field in this game back in the 3rd inning. And it's really a testament to how hard he hit that ball on the home run. There has been absolutely no wind whatsoever today on what has been a beautiful night for baseball. The American flag in center field, the time I've been here at this stadium today, it has not moved at all. There's been no wind at all, and that just shows you just how hard of a hit ball that had to have been for Hobbs to be able to hit it out of the park. No wind whatsoever to carry the ball. And they're going to intentionally walk Hobbs as now they throw 4 pitch outs. And they're going to put Hobbs on with 2 outs and first base open, and they'd rather face Patrick Watson. They have a lot of respect for Hobbs after seeing that home run hit earlier in this game. Patrick Watson, though, has got plenty of power as well for the Jaguars. Watson with 7 RBIs to his credit this season, looking for at least a 17th RBI. With a runner on second and 2 outs, he swings and misses in the first pitch. He sees count 0-1. This is the second inning in a row where Victor Donza, in his relief appearance, faces a pair of runners on base. He forced the Jaguars to strand both runners last inning. We'll see what happens here in the 8th, with Watson up looking to drive some of them home. The 0-1 misses upstairs. Count even, a ball and a strike. Of course, with intentionally walking Hobbs, the Fighting Knights had to throw 4 pitch outs to him. That rule did not change in college baseball, unlike in the major leagues where you can just signal to first without having to throw a pitch out if you want to intentionally walk a batter. The rule remains the same as it always has been in the college level. A ball and 2 strikes here on Watson. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and Watson down on strikes, and the Jaguars strand runners on first and second for the second inning in a row. And they still lead it 3-2 as we go to the 9th inning here at the Lake. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Lake. The Jaguars lead the Fighting Knights 3-2, and they take the field for the top of the 9th. And Matt Meeks, tonight's starting pitcher for the Jaguars, is back on the hill, pursuing his 2nd complete game of the season. This is his 3rd start this season, as in which he has pitched into the 9th inning. And the first pitch to Patrick Dorian is swung on and missed for strike 1, 0-1. Dorian is the leading hitter on the Fighting Knights team, and he is exactly who the Fighting Knights would want at the plate to start a 9th inning trailing by a run. And he grounds one to third. Wagner fields across the diamond on the throw, in time for out number 1. And here's Shane Fontana. Fontana reached on a walk his last time up back in the 6th. He's 0 for 2. He's also grounded out and flown out. The walk he had reached on back in the 6th is the only base runner that the Fighting Knights have had since the 3rd inning. 1 out, nobody on here in the 9th. Once again, Meeks trying to pursue a complete game. He did throw a complete game early this season back in February in a 7-1 victory over Georgia Southwestern back on the 23rd of February. And he also went 8 1/3 innings on March 9th in a game against Young Harris. The Jaguars lost that game, however, 4-0, as he did not have much run support. No balls and 2 strikes on the cleanup hitter, Shane Fontana. And now the 0-2 pitch. Just misses outside. The Jaguar faithful thought that was going to be a called strike on the outside corner, but it was just a little bit outside. Count 1-2. The at-bat goes on to Fontana. Meeks not wasting any time between pitches. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. And 2 outs and nobody on here in the 9th. And the last hope for the Fighting Knights is Gabriel Martinez, who's 0 for 3 in this game. A pair of flyouts and a strikeout here with 2 outs. And here's the pitch to Martinez. Called strike 1, 0-1. Martinez, the tying run, trying to representing the tying run, trying to extend the game for Jake Rouse, who waits on deck. Rouse representing the go-ahead run. It's game time for the Fighting Knights. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on, hard hit, foul into Lake Olmsted, 0-2. Fans on their feet here at the lake, cheering on Meeks and the Jaguars. No balls and 2 strikes. The count on Martinez. 2 out, nobody on in the 9th inning. Jaguars lead by a run. The 0-2. Swung on. Line in the air to center field. Back, Bill Ardello to get it. He's there. He makes the catch. The ball game is over. The Jaguars win 3-2. Matt Meeks has pitched a complete game, his 2nd complete game of the season, and he is being congratulated by his teammates on the mound as the Jaguars defeat the Lynn Fighting Knights 3-2 in game 1 of a 3-game weekend series in what was an outstanding game here at Lake Olmsted Stadium. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will wrap things up and possibly have a quick word with the player of the game, Matt Meeks, but we'll have to wait and see about that. But nevertheless, we will take a quick break and wrap things up after this. Stay tuned. We welcome you back here to Lake Olmsted Stadium. Once again, the final score, the Jaguars defeat the Fighting Knights 3-2, improved to 15-31 overall on the season, and the Fighting Knights drop their 9th consecutive game, and they fall to 20-25 overall this season. Let's take a look at some final totals from this game a little later on. We're going to be joined by the player of the game, Matt Meeks, who for the Jaguars in this victory throws a complete game, his second complete game of the season, gives up only 2 runs off of 3 hits, and both of those 2 runs and all 3 of those hits were given up in the second inning. In the first inning as well as innings 3 through 9, basically a no-hitter outside of the second inning for Matt Meeks. What an outstanding performance, and it was imperative for him to step up in this game with the Jaguars only scoring 3 runs, and those 3 runs for the Jaguars because of Meeks' performance were just enough to get to victory. Let's look at some final totals. Timothy Gray, after his outstanding heroics in Saturday's win, we talked about that earlier on, he steps up again here today. He came up with nobody on and 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. The Jaguars at that time trailed 2-1. He was hit by pitch, stole second, advanced to third on an errant throw, and then scored on the sacrifice fly to tie the game. The sacrifice fly by Brent Alford tied the game at 2. He came back up in the 6th with nobody out after Jim Wagner singled to lead off the inning. He grounded out on a fielder's choice play in which Wagner was thrown out at second, but he ended up reaching first on the fielder's choice, and then scored the go-ahead run, which gave the Jaguars a 3-2 lead. The Jaguars would not relinquish that lead on a double by Brent Alford on the 3-2 pitch. Alford doubles him home to give the Jaguars a lead. Jaguars hold on for the 3-2 lead. We're going to be joined shortly by the star of the game, Matt Meeks, who pitched a complete game. And with the game being as close as it was, the Jaguars had the bullpen on standby for most of the game's climax, with it being a one-run lead. But Matt Meeks, as outstanding as he was pitching, they kept him in the game, and why not? And he delivered and pitches his second complete game of this season as the Jaguars hold on to win this game with outstanding defense behind Meeks. Let's also make note, the Jaguars did not commit a single error on defense in this game. So great defense backs up great pitching by Meeks as the Jaguars win this one 3-2. And we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Matt Meeks here on the set of this one. And we'll hear his take on his complete game and the Jaguars' 3-2 victory on the other side of this break. You're watching and listening to the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back.
check, check.
Um, hey Tim, can you put it more in the center? Or I'm gonna get the camera guy over here in the center. So I'm gonna basically ask you about your approach and just performance in general and some stuff.
Okay.
If that works for you. How about that? That's better. That look good?
Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lake Olmsted Stadium. Once again, the Jaguars with the victory over the Fighting Knights 3-2. I'm Robert Ambrose. I'm joined by the star of today's game, the starting pitcher, Matt Meeks, who went the distance for the second time this season in this game in the 3-2 victory. Matt, how's it going?
Everything's going great right now.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. And just talk about your approach to today's game. You guys have been in a lot of high-scoring games this season. What did you have to do to make sure with everything in your power that was not the case today?
Just do my best to get ahead and stay ahead. There was a couple times later in the game when I got behind in counts, and I just had to take a step back off the mound and clear my head and just get back to things and just work on pounding the zone and let my defense do work for me. They did a great job tonight.
Yeah, 0 errors for the defense, and shows you a testament on how good the defense was in addition to Meeks on the mound today. And can you elaborate on if there was any pressure later in the game with it being a close game and you still on the mound?
I don't believe in any pressure. I used to when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I just put in a lot of hard work, and over the years I've been in a lot tougher situations, and it seemed at this point in my career that all you gotta do is just throw strikes at the end of the day.
Well, throwing strikes definitely pays off, and outside of the second inning, a no-hitter. Just talk about that.
I didn't even realize that, honestly, but yeah, they scored those 2 runs, and I just thought I'd put my foot on the gas and don't look back, and I knew my teammates would take care of me and put us back in the lead, and since I put us in the hole.
And early on, just talk about getting the offense going a little early on after the early struggles and the ABCs of baseball. We talk about how important that is. Just how great was that to see that today by the team?
Coming to the end of the season, it makes you feel good to see everybody doing what they're supposed to, like we have all year, and it just finally paid dividends for us there at the end, and everybody just doing their little part and just doing whatever we could do to get a win.
And I know obviously you're a senior and this is it for you this weekend, but with this being a young team, just how important is it for you to be able to help build the momentum into 2019 next year with things winding down this year so far?
Hopefully I left a lot of impact on some of the younger guys, and when times get tough, show them that it's just a baseball game, and all the practice you do will pay off for it. And I think we got a good young core that's gonna take us some good places in the future because they work hard and they get after it, and they're good little athletes, and we're gonna have a good future, I believe.
Absolutely. And you excited for tomorrow's doubleheader?
Absolutely.
All right, same here. Matt Meeks, everybody, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Once again, I'm Robert Ambrose. We'll be right back, and when we come back, we will tell you about some of the other scores and what else has gone on around the Peach Belt Conference here today. This has been a special presentation of the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. We'll be back. Thank you very much, Matt.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. All right, you too.
Welcome back to Lake Olmsted Stadium. We're back to wrap things up here as the Jaguars, as you can see, defeating Lynn 3-2 in an outstanding baseball game. The Jaguars scoring, as you can see, looking at the scoreboard, a run in the third, a run in the fourth, and a run in the sixth inning as well. And the Fighting Knights, just 2 runs off of 3 hits, all coming in the second inning. A no-hitter outside of that inning. Just what an outstanding game and outstanding pitching performance by Matt Meeks of the Jaguars, who pitched the distance, a complete game, 9 innings for the second time this season. Before we wrap things up, let's take a quick look at other games around the Peach Belt Conference here today. There were 3 other games that began at 6 o'clock Eastern Time along with this game, and that included USC Aiken versus Flagler, North Georgia and Lander, and Georgia College and Columbus State. And the Georgia College and Columbus State game has gone final. Georgia College 4-0 winners in that game. And in the bottom of the ninth, the USC Aiken Pacers with an 8-2 lead over the Flagler Saints. Pacers looking to close out the victory there in Flagler. And North Georgia trailing Lander 14-6 in a high-scoring affair there in the bottom of the 8th. Once again, as that wraps up what else has gone on around the Peach Belt Conference here today. And once again, the final score from here at Lake Olmsted Stadium, the Jaguars 3 and the Fighting Knights 2 in, once again, what was an outstanding game of baseball here at Lake Olmsted Stadium, and an outstanding victory for the Jaguars here at the lake. We will be back tomorrow for the season finale, a doubleheader. Games 2 and 3 of the series will be played tomorrow in a season-ending doubleheader for the Jaguars here at the lake. We will bring all the action to you right here on the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube, and we look forward to bringing that one to you as well, as we hope to end this 2018 season in grand fashion with a doubleheader tomorrow. It's been a great season and it goes by way too fast. Began the beginning of February, ends at the end of April every year. As Jaguars, once again, the final score from here at the lake, Jaguars defeating the Fighting Knights 3-2. I'm Robert Ambrose. This has been a special presentation of the Augusta University Athletics Network on YouTube. Good night, everybody.